Hello and welcome to the Basketball Addicts Podcast. All right, today we got a big one for you guys. This is going to be a live
Yeah.
NBA draft reaction, pick by pick. We're going to give you our live reaction, so it's not like we're recording, tomorrow or Friday when we're seeing all the draft picks. No, we're going to ride the roller coaster, see all the trades, the surprise draft picks, live reactions. You guys are gonna hear it all. Everything's gonna be edited in between to make it a shorter podcast in between the stuff that we're not talking about. And man, it's an exciting time to be a draft fan, and it's an exciting night. So we're gonna give you guys our breakdown, right? Like as you guys have listened to our top 30 big board, things of that nature. We really know this NBA draft stuff, so we're gonna give you guys pick by breakdown.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And currently, the San Antonio Spurs pick is in, so we're just kind of waiting right now.
I mean, we all know who it is. Wembanyama, you know?
Yeah. Breaking news! It's Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama going one here is no surprise. He's the number one guy on my big board as well. I'm definitely a huge fan. He's a generational talent. He is a world-class shot creator, 3-level shot creator. I talked about on the podcast about his skill, his ability to have world-class footwork. In the last 3 years that we've been doing these scouting things, he has the best footwork I've seen scoring wise. So talks about how special he is. He could be a DPOY guy by the ranginess and how fluid he is defensively. He's a hindrance to all pick and rolls. He's a great shot blocker at the rim, off ball, all things of that nature. Wembanyama is the real deal, and him going to San Antonio is perfect fit because they have a great culture. They understand how to develop international players. They understand how to be long term, and they're going to develop his talent.
The Spurs are fantastic when it comes to developing international talent. That's where, I'm just so happy they finally get a number one pick. Somebody who's good, that they know is going to be good.
Yes.
Because they're really known for, grabbing those dark horses of the drafts, like the Kawhi Leonards. Like, somebody's I don't really know, and then he turns to a superstar. Or, a lot of those guys they draft, they've always drafted, kind of those players who kind of, are, the diamonds in the rough, and we became, know that they are really good at developing players. So I think this is a great starting point for Wemby, especially because he's such a high-level player already. So I'm excited to see what he's able to do, because I think he's going to play a couple games of Summer League. So fingers crossed he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah,
and we get to see him in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed as well. He did just get announced by Adam Silver. He's shaking hands with people right now. His tall man, it's crazy how lanky this dude. Just dapping up.
Ain't he like 7'4"?
Yeah, I mean he's 7'4". Some reports have him at people say anywhere from 7'2" to 7'6", but the most consistent thing that you
that's crazy.
Yeah, got that Jonathan Kuminga length. Man, could you imagine if that was real? If Jonathan Kuminga really is 7'2".
Yeah. That's funny. That is funny.
I definitely think in between these picks, man, I feel like there's going to be some time and it's going to be edited out anyway, but we're definitely going to naturally talk about the trades. I already know.
Well, the big one right now is the Porzingis trade, so I feel like why not start there?
This dude, it's amazing. I love the trade for because we talked about them desperately needing the shot blocking at the rim in the lane, right? And he's gotten so much better at shot blocking at the rim. He's still 7'2". The guy's tall. He's been in the league for a minute. His body's filled out. So I'm just super excited for Boston. I feel like they fleeced the fuck out of the Wizards in that trade. That Tyus
they got
Jones
picks back.
Huh?
They got picks back.
Yeah, it was second round pick.
Yeah, they 2024 and 2023? I think they got picks this year.
Yeah. Second round draft picks though, they're not gonna do much. They didn't even get first back. That's wild.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make this even wilder for you for a second, right? So the Boston Celtics got Porzingis, right? They got off the Marcus Smart contract. Marcus Smart went to the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
Then you end up with a rebuilding team. So evidently now you're looking into the future and you don't have picks. I mean, you have second round picks for this year and next year, right?
Yeah.
Depending on, you have no more trade assets because who you're trading now? Because Bill's gone, Porzingis gone. You don't have Chris Paul anymore, and that's something else we can talk about too. That's coming up. Yeah. No more Chris Paul in the Wizards uniform at all.
Nope, never even gonna touch it.
He's never even gonna wear it.
Nope.
That's crazy. So now you're in complete rebuild with Tyus Jones.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because Chris Paul went to the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. I mean, that was the Wizards getting Jordan Poole back for Chris Paul. I mean, dear goodness. That's like an amazing haul for him. But, CP3 makes so much sense on the Warriors, passing wise, defensively, intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, he just makes too much sense.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great start to free agency. It's crazy. Porzingis gone, Bill gone, Chris Paul at the Warriors. Middleton opted out, Kuzma opted out. There's going to be some big plans. And so far, Portland has interest in DeAndre Ayton, and Dame refuses to leave. Why, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be wild if he really does. I don't
think he's leaving.
Dame leaving?
I don't think Dame's leaving.
I mean, I feel like everybody in the world wants him, but he never does. So you're probably right. They never do anything.
He's doing the Ben Simmons summer workout video to us. Every year he gets our hopes up about him leaving, and then he never does.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there hasn't been... Oh, the pick is in for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm surprised...
Who do you think it is? Predictions.
My prediction for the Charlotte Hornets pick is Brandon Miller. That's who I think
I'm going Brandon Miller. Yeah. I'm going Brandon Miller.
Yeah. I honestly thought that pick was going to get traded because Scoot makes so much sense on New Orleans. Because if they move BI, I mean, like, New Orleans has Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones and Zion. Like, they got plenty of forward depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm honestly surprised because that trade idea made so much sense.
I think the Hornets want BM. I don't like saying that. Brandon Miller. B Mills. We go say B Mills.
Oh, that's who you think they're going to take? Brandon Miller?
I didn't want to say BM, so I'm going to say B Miller or B Mills.
Yeah, I could see that. This is going to, this is why doing this live makes so much fun because, like, this type of pick right here, because I have a feeling that Charlotte is going to go Scoot. I think that talent is too intriguing for them to pass up on, even though fit makes sense more.
So now I have a question then, right? So if Charlotte goes Scoot, right, does that mean that the Pelicans are going to trade BI to the Hornets to get Scoot?
Yeah, that's what I thought all along. I thought they would trade for Scoot. Ooh, Brandon Miller's on his phone, and Scoot isn't. Uh-oh. The pick is in. All right.
Oh, let's go. Who is it?
Let's see. And they draft Adam Silver's talking. Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is the second pick in the NBA draft. Man,
that's crazy.
Yep. Number 4 guy on my big board. Could shoot the lights out of 3-point ball. I comped him to a more athletic Peja Stojakovic. Really definitely, his negatives is getting to the rim, but 6'9", can defend really well. Lanky guy. He definitely, super polished on 3-point shot and coming off ball and all those type of things. And, shot creation for himself is developing, but it has enough highlight tapes to really believe in what it could be for the future. And on top of everything else, man, this makes so much sense because, Scoot Henderson, like I talked about before, him being a great passer paired with LaMelo, they wouldn't fit well together because of the passing. But Brandon Miller, man, you don't have to worry about fit at all. They desperately need a wing that can score, be consistent, that fits the age range of LaMelo, right? And you know what you're going to get, right? He's going to complement well. If they're going to play up and down like that, his length will be nice. So I think it makes a lot of sense. If I had to grade the pick, I'd give it an A.
Yeah, I would give it an A too. But I don't think anybody really saw that coming though. With the B Mills coming second, because I thought for sure it was gonna be Scoot. You know what I mean? At one point, but then once the talk starts swirling around like Scoot Henderson and New Orleans wanting to get him, and I was like, that makes perfect sense. I thought they were going to move it, so I think that by the end of the night, BI will be a Hornet. I think by the end of tonight, BI will be a Hornet.
Well, I don't think they would trade for Brandon Miller. I could definitely see BI being a Portland Trailblazer like this. Like if I'm Portland and now we got Scoot at 3, I got a lot of leverage. I'd be thinking about it.
That's what I meant. I meant the third. Yeah. Whoever chooses Scoot, which I'm assuming it will be Portland. And then you put Dame Lillard next to BI. I mean, BI next to Dame Lillard. That's not bad.
That would make so much sense. You got Dame,
And
Anthony
they
Simmons, Bi, Jeremy Grant, and Nurkic. Like that team works.
maybe an Ayton.
Aiton's not a big up. I wouldn't lose my mind over DeAndre Ayton.
I like the Bi pick though.
Ayton.
If Bi becomes a Portland Trailblazers, I like that team a little bit better now.
Yeah. I may
But
not.
Does that make?
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I may not be a style fashionista, but Brandon Miller's suit ugly. It's got like a green with red stripes, like one of those plaid nightgowns type of thing that just looks like an expensive version of. Like, what the fuck is he wearing? So sorry, he is not winning suit of the night. That's
now we're suit of the night.
Nah, bro. Like his pants don't even come up to his ankles. They come to his like calves.
No, but that's like how the pants are worn.
Really?
Like, those probably supposed to be like that.
Okay, but still, the color dynamics are definitely
probably the color. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Looks like the pick is in for the Portland Trailblazers as well, but they're still tucking the Brandon Miller on the screen.
Portland, like, we pick it now.
Yeah, everybody in the world knows
who
they're gonna. Everybody in the world knows who they're gonna.
Exactly. He's like, they're like, we want the pick now. We know what we're about to get. They talking to New Orleans right now. It's like, so if we pick Scoot, we get Bi, right?
That makes so much sense for Portland.
If they keep Scoot, Portland doesn't know what they're doing in the office.
Yeah, I mean, like Dame needs to take a sign at that point in time that they're building for the team. Right, because Scoot's a point guard and nothing else other than a point.
Right.
Apparently, Charlotte sees Brandon Miller as a perennial future All-Star. So,
yeah, I see it on Twitter too. Yeah, they see him as a perennial future All-Star.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on those Woj tweets because you never know. We might talk for 3 hours and be like, because I can't have the sound on of what I'm watching while talking because copyright.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, copyright. I'm on Twitter. Somebody said enormous L by Charlotte picking Brandon Miller. I don't think so.
Yeah, me either.
No, he was not the pick. Hold on, wait. All these guys in here do not know basket. No. Scoot was not the pick. Why would you put a point guard next to your point guard?
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Unless you want to get Bi. Bi looks good on Portland and on Charlotte. Either way, honestly.
Yeah, Bi is definitely somebody you trade a Scoot level player. Especially if you're a New Orleans.
Yeah.
Sadly, New Orleans just got too many forwards. Pick's about to be announced. I can only imagine. Jarris Walker.
Wow.
Just kidding. Could you imagine?
That'd be crazy.
Scoot Henderson. All right. It is official.
Where's the trade at?
It's official. Scoot Henderson is a Portland Trailblazer for now.
Right.
Scoot Henderson as a player. The number 2 guy on my big board. This guy is a very great athlete, super strong, very well built, physically and athletically. Reminds me a ton of John Wall. I think he's a little bit better passer, though. I think he's a smarter guy. He plays with a fire. He definitely seems like a good leader. Definitely understands how to expose matchups. Get to the rim at an extremely elite level. Definitely has a really solid pull-up mid-range jump shot for pick-and-roll situations. His three-point shot is the worry, though, 27.5%. And he doesn't really take a lot of highly contested threes anyway. Most of them very wide-open, good looks. So, similarly to John Wall, that three-point shot can cap his potential. Defensively, though, he can definitely be a very good defender. A little bit of an off and on switch depending on who he's playing, the situation of the game. But the potential to defend is there, though. So, it definitely makes sense long term because you can have Scoot, Anthony Simmons, and the guy they drafted last year, 2 guard, 6'6" from Kentucky. Really big hops.
No.
Shaedon Sharpe.
Yeah.
All 3 of those guys could fit together because, Shaedon Sharpe's 6'6", so he could be the 3 if it needed to be. So that's a good young card moving forward for Portland if they're going to keep it.
If they're going to rebuild.
Yeah. But
they better not be rebuilding because Dame is out the door if they rebuilding because he said he don't want to play for a team that's rebuilding.
Yeah. And I think Dame needs to take a hint that they're rebuilding. He hasn't taken the hit for the past 2 years. I don't know. He may never take the hit.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think he's gonna sit there. He's gonna be a Portland Trailblazer forever.
Yeah, he takes that loyalty thing very seriously. I think he takes it too much to the point where it's detrimental to him. But
because guess what, that loyalty goes out the window. Because if he was to get hurt and couldn't play for a year, Portland would him off in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
even though he has been hurt and he couldn't play for a year. Not they haven't done it yet, but with what they're building, they would trade him off in a heartbeat for more picks to build more for the future.
True. Yeah, I agree. No,
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It's true. This is where the real intrigue of the draft starts. I feel like everybody knew who the top 3 picks in the draft were going to be, but now at Houston, this is where it's like bedlam in the streets, man. I can't wait. This better be Amen Thompson. Better Amen Thompson makes 2.
Amen Thompson, right?
Yes. Now Scoot Henderson's fit. Oh, that guy's blinging. That guy gets a 10 out of 10 on the fit. He's got a bunch of silver stuff on his jacket. It looks like some sort of... I can't even really put the design in words, but he looks like a baller out there. Boom, boom, boom. X, are you no? All right, it is official. The 4th pick in the draft is Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite. This guy was the number 5 guy on my big board. This guy is a 6'7", really gifted athlete. Athletically, length, and defensively reminds me a ton of Andrew Wiggins. Definitely very blessed athletically. 6'7" lengthwise. He is a point guard, really highly efficient out of the pick and roll, ridiculously athletic, ridiculously good at putting pressure at the rim. His athletic gifts paired with his length when he gets to the rim is going to make him unstoppable, trying to stop him at the rim at the next level in the NBA. Nobody's going to be able to stop him at the rim, where he's extremely valuable. On top of that, he's a very gifted passer. He has talent for passing. What I mean by that is he'll be in tough situations where he may only be able to get a pass off by leaning to the right, but, extending his body in a way and putting his body in a position in a way to get a pass off that most normal human beings are just going to get off. So he has some gifts there. And that passing gifts paired with his ability to attack the rim is going to lead to a lot of great 3-point shooting for the Houston Rockets as Amen Thompson. So he's going to definitely lead to a lot of great perimeter shooting because of his ability to attack that rim. He's very limited, though, outside of the paint. Has no skill at shot creating in the mid-range, pull-up mid-range shots, 3-point shots. It's very disconcerting. 23% or 25% against OTE, who play terrible defense. 16 to 18-year-olds that don't really play defense, and sometimes he's the tallest guy on the floor. So, it's a tough scouting situation, but that 3-point shot against that situation is by far the biggest question mark. When we're talking about fit on the Houston Rockets, oh dear goodness, this is the perfect fit. Because the thing that I kept on talking about is KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr., cannot be a point guard on their team. Because of this, he's a good passer for a 2-guard, but he's not a good passer for a point guard that he doesn't give enough passing for the team. And he's a perfect fit here for the Houston Rockets because he's 6'7". So you can have KPJ at the point guard because he's like 6'3", and then you can have Jalen Green for 2 defensively because he's 6'5", and then Thompson could be that 6'7" guy. So you can get the point guard that they need at the height that makes sense where you could have everybody on the floor. So offensively, this makes so much sense. And the biggest question mark is his 3-point shot and his shooting. Well, on the Houston Rockets, when you have Jalen Green who can shoot the poo out the ball, KPJ can shoot the poo out of the ball. Jabari Smith Jr., who was drafted last year, can shoot the poo out of the ball 3-point. So the shooting that they have is going to allow him to have the spacing to attack the rim, and the best version of himself is going to be able to be shown in Houston. It's a great fit, and defensively, it's a perfect fit because we got Ime Udoka there, right? So Amen Thompson I compared to Andrew Wiggins defensively. Jabari Smith Jr. is extremely special defender. Year 1, he was the best defender on their team. And you have Jalen Green, who maybe isn't a great defender yet, but each time they played a game throughout the whole season, he guarded the opponent's best offensive player. So he has the intention to become a good defender. So when you pair Jalen Green's athletic gifts and Amen Thompson's athletic and defensive gifts, and you pair that with Jabari Smith Jr., you got 3 great defensive players to grow to their best versions with Ime. So this makes a ton of sense. I have been wanting Houston to draft him this whole time frame, and this is a perfect fit. Just like Draymond Green's a perfect fit on the Warriors. This is you couldn't have drawn up somebody better in the lab to fit with the Houston Rockets to fill their needs all in one year. So I'm very excited about Amen Thompson with the Houston.
Yeah, that's like a awesome pick. I love the young core they're building. All I ask is that don't let James Harden, entice you enough that you like, oh, trade away our future.
I couldn't agree more.
Please don't. Please don't do that.
I don't say this very often, but this is the type of core that could be, leading their way to a 1 seed in about 6 to 7 years.
And they have time. They're all very young.
Yes.
And, they have a lot of time to really build themselves up and to get to that point, especially. And they have a great coach to do it.
Yeah.
They have one of the best coaches in the league right now, Ime Udoka. And we know what he was able to do with Boston. And a lot of people say, oh, they just had a lot of talent. Well, you're going to see this is a student of Pop, one of the greatest coaches of all time. And he's going to show you why he's a great coach. And they're going to develop well over there. Going to get these guys playing defense. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch Houston again.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And this is a team that has a great future. This is perfect draft. You couldn't make a player in a lab better to fit exactly what Houston needed. Amen. All right, Detroit's about to be announced, and they have drafted. Let's go. Ausar Thompson. Whoa, the Thompson brothers go back to back. I did not see this coming.
Wow.
Ausar Thompson is Amen Thompson's brother, same height, 6'7", with a 7-foot wingspan. He's not as athletic as Amen, but he's very athletic. He's a good athlete. He's an extremely highly intelligent basketball player. Really, really smart. The 8th guy on my big board. He definitely, I think he's a better pure, strategic thinker of the game and trying to pass the ball than Amen. He really can lead his teammates to open spaces and manipulate defenses. Extremely calm guy. Yeah, that sounds good, Chris. Extremely calm guy. And he is just so good at he shoots 33% from the 3-point line. He has some really good mid-range, fadeaways and some post-up games, and he has great touch. And when talking about fit with the Detroit Pistons, though, I don't think this makes any sense. Because they have a guy named Cade Cunningham who's same height, similar abilities, and they just drafted Jaden Ivey, right?
Yeah.
Ausar Thompson's not... One of Ausar Thompson's greatest skills is passing the basketball. And him fitting with Cade Cunningham on the same team really doesn't give me... I don't see the fit. I just don't see the fit because he's just not a scorer. You know what I mean? It's not like when he gets the his ball in his hands, he's dynamic and he's going to get buckets. No, he's been going to need the ball in his hands to try to expose defenses and be a playmaker, not a shot creator. Or, you know what I mean? So, but they already have Cade, who's a playmaker, and Jaden Ivey's a perfect secondary playmaker. Jaden Ivey got a ton of time last year at the point guard position. So I definitely extremely disagree.
Man. So for this one, at least in my opinion, I mean, maybe they're going to have them fight for the spot. Who knows? Because Monty's the new coach over there. That's kind of trying to, see what they have and what they can develop and what they can build over there. And then a lot of times, even with, the picks and things like that, one thing I have noticed over the years is that players get drafted, they play Summer League, and they might not even see the NBA floor. They might go straight to the G League. So that might be where they're going to end up sending them to develop a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go in the G League, but I think definitely the fit doesn't make much sense to me. There was a lot of good power forwards and small forwards here that, I had higher on my big board and would have fit better day one. You know what I mean?
Wiseman went to the G League, though.
Yeah, but that's a different situation. Detroit, I mean, even if they draft him and, they don't start him over Cade, he'll still be backup point guard or backup guard.
Yeah.
I mean, his 6'7" length does be like, okay, maybe one day he could be a small forward, but his shot creation and his shooting efficiency is going to have to come a long way to be able to be an off-ball player. That's just not the situation that you want. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a fit that I don't like. If I had to grade this draft pick, I'd give it a C. A D plus. D plus.
A D plus. Okay.
Yeah. Houston would get that A plus though. It's crazy. Twin brothers drafted back to back in the top 10. I don't even think I think this is the first time any twin brothers have ever been drafted in the top 10. Actually,
that's what I was about to say. I was like, is that the first time NBA history?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Crazy.
And it's not shade to the talent of the player, right? It's more about the fit with the team. Even though I have him 8 on my big board, like I could see a team reaching at 6 if he was the right fit, but at 5, I mean, but nah. Not for that fit. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Maybe they're planning on trading?
Maybe. I don't know. But the Orlando Magic's pick is in, so they're announcing it right now. This is a wild card.
Orlando Magic select? Yeah.
It's got to be a guard. Mm-hmm. Anthony Black just went. All right. Mm-hmm. Anthony Black is the 6th pick in the draft. 6'7" point guard from Arkansas with a 6'7" wingspan. This guy is a very good defender. I have him 15 on my big board. I definitely disagree with a lot of people that really are in love with this guy. I think he's gonna bust for the pick position, honestly. He is a guy that has no skill from like the mid range. He doesn't have mid range pull ups. He doesn't have mid range shot creation. His 30% 3-point percentage is a complete lie. Every single shot that he shoots, wide open shots. He doesn't shot create for himself at all from the 3-point line. He lives and dies on being able to finish at the rim, but he's not a gifted athlete. He's like an above average to good athlete. I think he's gonna be a good defender in the NBA. But he's a poor man's Lonzo Ball, in my opinion. He just doesn't have enough scoring skill for the point guard position in the NBA. And to put this in perspective, if you took his passing away and you just said, okay, Anthony Black, how good of a player would he be if you took away his passing ability? He'd be playing D2 basketball. That's how terrible his scoring is. It's like ridiculously bad. He's a good passer, but I don't think he's a great passer. People want to compare him to, the guy from the Oklahoma City Thunder from the NBL, Josh Giddey. I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey was a much better passer, much better shot creator from every level, had a ridiculous layup package coming out of the NBL. So I don't see it. I just genuinely don't see it. So, no, Anthony Black, this is, again, I'm going to go with an F for the Orlando Magic. I think this is going to be a bust. Hopefully it proves me wrong, but I just don't see it.
You said an F? Wow. That's the wow. F. Wow. So who would you prefer at this spot then, if that's the case?
Who have I drafted here at 6? I wouldn't have drafted Taylor Hendricks or Cam Whitmore because we got Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero on the team. So, I probably would have went with, if they wanted to draft point guard, I would have went Jalen Hood-Schifino. Ausar Thompson was probably the guy they wanted, but he just went off the board. But, Jalen Hood-Schifino is a guy that's higher on my big board that I think has more upside at the point guard position. That's a tall point guard as well. So every draft class, there's a few people that I just genuinely disagree with, just like another guy who got drafted to the Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs. When Jalen Suggs came out, I had him like 10 or 11 in my big board, right? And, Orlando kind of doing the same thing again. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, well, Orlando has chosen, and now we're on to number 7.
Indiana Pacers on the clock. Pick is in.
Pacers?
Yes.
Interesting time.
I would bet $50 that Cam Whitmore's about to go off here, or Taylor Hendricks. One of those two.
So is it 50-50 shot, either one?
Yeah. They desperately need a forward, power forward, or a small basketball. The best 2 players left in the draft are both play the same position. So, not the same position, but they both have positions that they need. This is like their perfect best case scenario. I'm sure they never would have thought that they would keep it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Speaking of Orlando, since we just talked about their pick, they are thinking about trading either Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs.
That would make sense to make room for Anthony Black. It'd be interesting to see where he actually gets traded, but the Indiana's pick is being announce right now. Whoa! No fucking way. No way. The Indiana Pacers, the surprise of the draft, choose Bilal Cullaby. He's the 32nd ranked player on my big board. He's 6'6". He didn't come into the NBA combine measuring his wingspan. I definitely personally I don't see the 7th pick in the draft at all. He's a pretty decent athlete, not a great athlete. I would say above average to good. He can get to the rim and finish, but it's not like overly gifted. He doesn't really flash any shot creation other than maybe a Euro step at the rim. His 3-point percentage is pretty low too. Not a great shot creator at all. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of his game tape is against guys that, he's taller than everybody on the floor, like the majority of his game tape. So it's really hard to understand how it's going to translate. I don't see him being a number 7 pick at all type guy. I definitely don't see him becoming a special player at the next level. I also think this is going to be a bust. I'd give it an F as well. I don't understand it. I disagree with it. Hopefully it proves me wrong again. I'm not wishing, to be right about these type of things, but I don't see Bilal Cullaby.
The Pacers are trading Bilal Cullaby to the Wizards.
To the Wizards? Wow. Now that's big news. Now that makes sense organizationally. The Wizards are the type of team to waste draft picks. So that makes a lot of sense. Again, the Wizards did a terrible job then. Are they swapping draft picks? Is that what's happening?
I don't know if they're swapping draft picks, but it was a Woj bomb.
Okay.
The Pacers, it just says the Pacers are trading Bilal Cullaby Cullaby to the Wizards.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't see.
Oh, swap for 8th pick in 2 seconds. So they get the 8th pick now.
Okay. So they're swapping picks. Okay. So the next pick is the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. So, the Wizards wise, I can understand this wanting a 2 guard that can defend next to Jordan Poole. I'm blanking on his name. They got Danny Adavia, Kuzma. Positionally it makes sense. I just don't think that. So I disagree. Again, he was 32 on my big board. We'll see. Hopefully it proves me wrong.
The Pacers are targeting Jarace Walker. Jarris Walker.
Tyrese Walker.
Jarris Walker.
That would make sense.
Yeah, the Pacers want Jarris Walker.
I could see. It just came up on the screen as well. All right. Adam Silver's walking to the podium. It is official. With the 8th pick that the Wizards traded to the Pacers, they are choosing Jarris Walker, power forward from Houston University, the 9th guy on my big board. This makes a ton of sense for the Indiana Pacers, but to break down the player first, 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan, extremely strong and built human being. I mean, pound for pound, the strongest guy in the draft is Jarris Walker. I mean, he's yoked. Dude looks like a bodybuilder out there. Moves freaky well with that size. He's so freaky and strong that he actually played center for Houston. This guy's a defensive freak of nature. Can guard 1 through 5. Guards positionally so well. Guards the rim so well. And on top of everything else, he is a 35% 3-point shooter. So this guy can shoot the 3. He can space the floor. He's gonna be. And, I think his game, other than that, I don't think it's going to develop much. That post game is not going to translate. His handle is extremely raw. He can't really take more than 1 dribble without getting exposed. But, fit-wise, this is perfect. Because the Indiana Pacers, who do they have on the team? They got 6'6" Tyrese Halliburton. They got 6'5" Benedict Mathurin. And they got 6'6" Chris Duarte. You want to allow those 3 guys that you've invested in to develop. Right, and so drafting a guard here wouldn't make much sense. Even a small forward would be a tough fit. You know what I mean? But this guy makes a perfect fit because he's going to be able to play that power forward. They got nobody at the position. And Chris Duarte, Benedict Mathurin, and Tyrese Halliburton can't defend. Now, Benedict Mathurin has the potential to become a good defender, but Jarris Walker is a special defender. You know what I mean? And you pair him with Miles Turner, it makes so much sense. And he's going to be a star in his role. And this is going to allow Indiana to become a more complete basket. One pro player comparison is Al Horford. he's a ridiculously high tier role player, kind of like out. So, I'm excited for the Pacers here. This is a very good draft pick. I give it an A minus. Good job.
Good job to the Pacers. They actually have a nice young core there too, as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the Pacers next.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna make some moves, as far as like some trades, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they're still pretty content with what they have.
Yeah.
So good job, Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too. I mean, they got Jalen Smith as well, who's kind of like a poor man's Miles Turner on the same team. So, they have some young pieces there that can grow into a good core. And we all know Rick Carlisle believes in one thing, and that's shooting the fuck out of that 3-point ball. And this guy could shoot it.
Of course.
Right? So, They got 5 shooters on the floor, plenty of spacing. So, yeah. He's going to be a good screen setter, all that stuff. Do the little things very well. Yeah.
Speaking of the Pacers, though, this seems like an all-time fleece if you for the Pacers on the Boston Celtics, because clearly Michael Brogdon has some kind of injury that's that prevented him from being traded yesterday.
Really?
Like some kind of super bad injury. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they said it's something terrible where it was like, he's not even going to be attempted to be traded. He cannot be traded.
Could you imagine if he was faking it? It's like, oh man, I like it in Boston. Oh my god, I can't move. He just lies to everybody, and he's just walking around with fucking knee braces, full body braces, neck braces. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, but they have to check him out. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like give him a physical before they can take him. So
I agree.
It's got to be something, but whatever it is, it's something that's super terrible that's not going to allow him to be traded at all. Like they're stuck until they can release him.
Yeah, it's been wild.
I saw it yesterday. I was like, wow. Yeah, it's definitely been wild.
The Utah Jazz 9th pick in the draft is in. I'm just waiting for commercials to be done and Adam Silver to walk his way to the draft.
Speaking about young teams, though, I would be pretty upset if some form of move is not made by Sacramento.
The Kings in the draft?
Yeah, not saying like a draft pick or something like that, but if they don't get better somehow, then I would be pretty upset.
Yeah,
if they don't get better somehow by the by the end of the free agency, I'll be pretty upset.
Yeah, there's a lot of good role players in this draft, so I could definitely see them picking up somebody late first in the second that could, do it.
I need something from the Kings. They almost beat the Warriors, so I need something. They gotta finish. They gotta be able to beat the Warriors, and they gotta be able to beat the Suns now. It was like, hold on, wait. While we're on commercial break, let's talk about the Suns for a second with the Bradley Beal. I don't find basketball interesting anymore because of the Suns trade. Because, I just feel like it's building a super team. You know what I mean? Like, I liked it better, and, some people may disagree with me, but I liked it better 2020. Everybody had a dynamic duo, right? There was not 3 players on a team, you know what I mean, that were all-stars. There was dynamic duos. We had LeBron and AD. Kawhi and PG. We had Curry and I guess you could say Clay. Everybody had 2 players. You know what I mean? Boston had JB and JT. Milwaukee had Giannis and Middleton. Suns had Book and CP3. It was a good. No. Actually, Book didn't have CP3 yet. My bad. That was because it was during the bubble. I liked basketball in 2020 when there was just dynamic duos all around the NBA, and it was good quality basketball, right? As soon as not saying that as soon as Durant was like, yeah, let's go team. Oh yeah, because that wasn't before James Harden joined. So they had, I think the following year they had the Nets and they had KD and Kyrie, or was it that the same year? Did they join the same? She joined up the same year and just refused to play. They might have joined up the same year. But yeah, it was dynamic duos all around the league, and I was like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, James Harden joins the Nets. Okay, then we got 3. They don't succeed. And then you have Bill joining the Suns. You already got KD and Book there, and now you have Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see any more super teams.
The pick is in. Do you mind we transition here?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, the 9th pick in the draft is in. The Utah Jazz I've drafted Taylor Hendricks, 6'10" power forward from UCF. I have him number 3 on my big board. Huge fan of this guy. 39% from the 3-point line. Can shot block like it's nothing. Great weak side shot blocker. Ridiculously fluid in his movement. Whenever you see somebody be the guy that's running the press as the person guarding the ball handler when they're trying to bring the ball up, it speaks to how freaky fluid this guy is. The thing that I believe in him more than anybody else, and put the base in here. He's athletically and defensively reminds me of Serge Ibaka, but what I believe in more than anybody else is that handle. It looks ridiculously fluid when he's driving to the basket. It looks like he really understands what he's doing. It looks extremely natural to him, and I think he has the potential to become a guy that can drive to the basket at the next level. And when you pair his athletic gifts with that 39% 3-point shot, you can understand why I view him as the third guy on my big board. As a draft pick, though, I'd give this an A- because the fit's terrible because they have Lauri Markkanen. Like, I'm so sad that he got drafted there. Like, how is he supposed to develop when the best player, the all-star on their team's Lauri?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. Because he's not going to get the minutes to develop.
Yeah. I mean, that is crazy. And that's true, too. So maybe they're expecting to, kind of have him as a backup, kind of trying to give him a chance to develop a little bit and try to have him as a backup because they might think that he might be better. That he could be better, that he could develop a little bit, or maybe a lot of these players, I kid you not, Jason, they're going to the G League. They're drafted by a team to be going to the G League to develop. That's what's going to happen. If you truly believe, if in your mind, if you go, this doesn't work because they have such and such player, more than likely they're going to that's just a fact in the matter.
Oh, breaking news. The Mavericks are shading the 10th pick and David Bertans to the Thunder.
Whoa! 10th pick to the Thunder.
I don't know what they're getting back in return yet, but there's some.
They gave David Bertans, they got off his contract and a pick. What do they want, though?
You know who would make sense?
Some weird stuff draft.
Lou Dort. Lou Dort makes sense. That defensive guard that they have.
Yeah, to the Thunder for number 10. Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else that you would want from OKC. And I wouldn't trade this 10th pick for something that I couldn't have now. Like, I would take future first in this situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be a player.
Of course. Maybe Lou Dort.
Pick is in.
Okay. Who is the Thunder?
It's probably going to be Cam Whitmore here.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy shit. The Dallas Mavericks drafted the guy that I thought that they would draft anyway if they're going to keep the draft pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Cason Wallace, point guard from Kentucky. On my big board, this guy is, I want to say 13 or 14. I'm going to double check here. He is the 13th guy on my big board. This guy is a world-class defender. 6'4" with a 6'8" wingspan. I think he can be a generational talent at a defense, especially the guard position. He's a phenomenal on-ball defender. The highly intelligent guy at anticipating passing lanes and playing in those passing lanes. He can manipulate defenses to play the way that he wants them to and expose them. Offensively, he can shoot the three very well. He reads the pick and roll well. He's not going to be a great shot creator for himself, and he's a pretty average passer. But when we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder, that's a very odd pick because they already have Lou Dort, and they already got so many ball handlers with Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams. You know what I mean? That's just, I don't think it makes much sense, and I'm so surprised because if this was the Mavericks pick, I would be like, okay, perfect fit. But if this is really going to OKC, I'd give it a C-. I don't believe that the fit's here. Passing out Cam Whitmore as well, I don't see it.
Hey, maybe they're, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Every draft, something weird happens that I just quite don't understand. So we'll see how it plays out.
So you think this is the one thing that you just don't get?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you.
So far, it's the one thing. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's just does not make any sense. I'm so curious what Dallas got in return.
I mean, Woj will find out soon, and then
I'm like waiting on the edge of my seat.
yeah, I'm waiting for the Woj bomb right.
Orlando's pick is in.
Okay, let's go Orlando. You can't disappoint us twice.
They're probably gonna draft into the guard. Jalen Hood-Schifino. I don't know who the fuck they're. It's Orlando. You can't protect people who don't understand basketball.
Very true.
They're the luckiest team in basketball. 2 number 1 picks. Only 2 players ever drafted by them other than Penny, who Shaq scouted. They weren't going to draft Penny before Shaq told them to draft Penny.
Yeah.
They get Shaq and Dwight Howard number 1 picks. Best players in their draft. They've never done anything else good. Name me one thing that wasn't the number 1 pick. Franz Wagner?
I mean, they did build that one team. They did build that one Orlando team that ended up going to the NBA Finals, but they lost. They beat the Cavs. The Dwight Howard team with Jameer Nelson and Rashard Lewis. Dwight Howard.
Yeah, it sounds like a great team when you describe it, right? You listed off the players on the roster. When you named Jameer Nelson as the second guy, that tells you the roster quality. Doesn't mean everything I knew.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Hito was a free agent or a trade.
Probably.
T-Mac, trade.
Probably. Yeah, T-Mac was definitely a trade. They traded with the Toronto. Because him and Vince were playing together and then they traded them. Well, traded T-Mac because they wanted to go Vince is the franchise.
Yeah.
And then T-Mac ended up getting hurt and then he went to Houston.
Yes, sir.
What's crazy is the league used to be very cutthroat. Think about that for a second. You get traded to Orlando, right? Get hurt and they trade you away to Houston. The league used to be cutthroat.
Yes, sir. All right, the pick's in.
Go ahead.
Adam Silver's talking right now. The 11th pick in the draft is Jet Howard. That's the most Orlando Magic draft pick ever. Jet Howard I swear this is such tomfoolery. This is ridiculous. Jet Howard, number 24 on my big board. That's definitely a 11th pick worthy joke. That's called a joke. He is a 6'7" small forward, shoots the ball 37% 3-point line. He's a pretty solid off-ball mover. He's a pretty good standstill 3-point shooter. He's tight in the hips, so he's a pretty average defender at the wing position. He doesn't really flash anything else. Every once in a while, he'll flash some shot creation, but his handle is terrible. After he takes 2 dribbles, it's going the other way. All this guy's ever going to be is a bench shooter the rest of their life. They just wasted the 11th pick in the draft on a bench shooter. And this is such. If I had to give it a grade, F-. Orlando's going back to back with the F-. Congratulations.
That is crazy. Who should they have taken at this spot?
Oh, I mean,
Cam Whitmore.
Cam Whitmore. The dude's built like if you're going to draft a small forward, he's built like a tank. Elite first step, get to the rim and finish. Actually has shot creation from the 3-point line. Shoots 35%, way bigger body, way bigger upside. Yeah, but, this is Orlando, so what do you expect? You know what I mean? Dumb teams do dumb things, and this is just what it is.
So we be coming to an agreement here?
What?
Because I believe here that Orlando has now solidified themselves as one of the worst run organizations.
Yeah, I think we can agree. And also, just came out, the Mavericks traded the 10th pick for the 12th pick. So the Mavericks are on the clock right.
Whoa. Who are they giving that pick to, though?
Oh, they traded their 10th pick to OKC, and OKC had the 12th pick. And the Mavericks are on the clock right.
Okay. That's what they traded for? Come on, Cam Whitmore.
Bro, if the Dallas Mavericks got Cam Whitmore in the 12th pick in the draft, I'm literally, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. What a steal. It's the obvious pick. Like, they have nobody that plays in the small forward position. Like, they need a body day one. Yeah, if it's me here, it is Cam. It's Cam Whitmore. I mean, I also love Maxwell Lewis, but that's, the way I view Maxwell Lewis. Whenever Maxwell Lewis gets drafted in the draft, I will talk for 50.
Is that somebody who you were waiting to get drafted? You want to see them get drafted, huh?
Oh, yeah, I have him ranked 6 on my big board that I talked about, and he's going to go somewhere in the 20s, probably. That's where he goes a month.
Oh, for sure.
So somebody's going to get that diamond in the rough, and I'm going to lose my mind. Be like, no, right? I can't believe the Oklahoma. Sam Presti's a fucking good GM. What the fuck was that man thinking, dude? Having Jalen Williams Great pass for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey. And you'll think to yourself, man, I need a defensive guard. Oh, you have Lou Dort. You know what? Fuck that. I need another one. I need him to also pass the basketball. Oh, what the fuck is going on? How many guards can you play?
They look like Minnesota now with all the guards.
Oh my god. At least Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 6'6", and Jalen Williams 6'6", and Josh Giddey 6'8". So like it could work. It's so, but he's a freak defensive player. So like I get that. Man, I don't want to listen to Juwan Howard talk. Yeah, the best suit of the night so far is Scoot. Dude had to go up. This is why we had to do man, because you know somebody chooses the lottery is so fucking dumb. Like the Cleveland Cavaliers used to be. Like, could you imagine if we were doing this podcast and we do basketball like we did now, and we got to see them draft Anthony fucking Bennett? I would have lost my mind. You, like, people would have. Where were you at when Anthony Bennett got drafted? You know, and people are gonna want to hear those reactions for like the history of time. Like, so
it's crazy because honestly, he was a highly touted prospect, Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, but he was supposed to go like 4 to 5 in the draft that was like historically weak up top. All right, with the 12th pick in the draft that the Oklahoma City Thunder traded to the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks choose Derek Lively. Man, ranked 17th on my big board. The next best center left on my big board. That guy is 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. This guy is somebody that is not an amazing person at any one thing, but very good at multiple things. He's a very good rebounder. He's a very good shot blocker. He's a very good lob threat. He's a very good screener. And, he offers very good length. And on top of everything else, he does move better on the perimeter than most centers in the NBA. He definitely is something that he showed doing very well at Duke. It was very impressive. So I would definitely say that, I understand them choosing him here. Christian Wood can either be a power forward or a center, right? He's a very key player. But I do think defensively, as a role player, day one, he's going to be able to start for them. It makes so much sense for them, shot blocking at the rim. So I'm very, very excited. And Derek Lively just went off the board, man. What do you think about that?
If he's a jack of all trades kind of guy, I can see why they take him. You know what I mean? They just want somebody solid, a solid player who can do a lot of things. Could fill in, who could check multiple bubbles and fill in where need be. So I think that's a solid pick. I think any player that can do pretty much everything on the floor, you know what I mean, and just be solid at it, I think that's a good pick. Yeah. That's a great role player.
Yeah, I mean, I view him as a 7'1", Jared Allen. I definitely, if I had to give this one a grade, I'd give it a B+. It's a very solid draft pick. Is he a talent that's worth the 12th pick in the draft? No, but he makes sense for them, right? He's going to add immediate value, and they definitely need to be able to defend the rims. It's important to have. And I am looking for the video. Yeah, Toronto Raptors are on. Ooh, all right. The 13th pick in the draft is announced. You ready to go over this, Chris?
Yep, let's go.
All right, the 13th pick in this draft by the Toronto Raptors is Great Dick, 6'8" forward from Kansas. He is let's see here on my big board, he is number 16. He's a really elite three-point shooter. Standstill-wise, he will be extremely important. He moves off ball extremely well. He definitely is a really good standstill shooter. He is a very average defender. Doesn't move very athletically. He can expose closeouts, but other than that, I think he's going to be a limited player for the rest of his career to that role. My pro player comparison is Cam Johnson. I do think that the Toronto Raptors made a really bad draft pick here. I mean, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, Pascal Siakam. The forward position is not the position that they needed help in. You know what I mean? So I would give this pick a C-. Messiah Ujiri's been tripping anyway lately, so yeah. And the New Orleans Pelicans are on the board. What do you think, Chris?
If they already, I mean, well, for me at least, is I don't think that's a good pick. I don't think it's a good pick considering what they already have. You already mentioned like Scotty Barnes and players like that. You know, they already have enough guards, so clearly that wasn't the spot they should have taken. So a lot of times teams don't really, in my opinion, I'm gonna say this, and I might be wrong. I feel like they don't take the time to truly scout because they would know what they have and what they want going forward, or maybe we may not just see the vision. Maybe they see something that we don't see, but a lot of these players, like I feel like, especially the fact that you took so long to go through every player individually, watch multiple games of film. I mean, I feel like your picks are better.
Thank you.
I feel like your picks really fit the teams a lot better. Yeah. So it's like I feel like the scouting or whatever level of scouting they're doing, I feel like that's just not adequate enough because I feel like they're not making the right decisions.
Yeah.
The top 3 I can agree with. Everything after that has really baffled me. I mean, top 6 I agree with. Everything after that has baffled me.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's been a crazy draft. For Cam Whitmore to fall this far, there must be some sort of off-court type stuff or maybe injury worry that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have a good personality, whatever it is.
Maybe he doesn't have a great work ethic. It's something. Like, how do we get to this point?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I mean, but then again, you know what I mean? These guys met the guy, so clearly they don't like something.
All right. The 14th pick is in for the New Orleans Pelicans. And numbers-wise, this is kind of hilarious because this guy is the 14th guy on the big board. Jordan Hawkins, 6'5", 6'7" wingspan, shooting guard from UConn, the national champion UConn Huskies. This guy shoots the poo out of the three-point ball, 38% three-point line. This guy is a very elite standstill shooter. He's also a very elite off-ball mover. I mean, he got thrown into a ridiculous high quantity of off-ball screens and put in positions where he's going to either curl to the rim or come off the ball and play off those screens, and he does that at an expertly high level. That three-point movement on the perimeter is going to give the New Orleans Pelicans a different look to their offense because they have like an off-ball mover elite-wise at the two-guard position. He's a good athlete. He definitely, whenever you see him curl the basket, you see flashes of his handle and his ability to finish at his rim with his athletic gifts. Me personally, I view him as a more athletic KCP. I don't think he's ever going to become a great shot creator from the three-point line, but this guy, on top of everything else, makes a lot of sense for the Pelicans because, even though today CJ McCollum's a two-guard and you want him to start at two-guard, this isn't a draft pick for today. It's a draft pick for 4 years. And day one, he's going to be able to be a shooter off the bench. They have an issue shooting threes, so it makes sense for him to do that. He's going to get to learn from CJ McCollum. And, long term, they're going to want to have Dyson Daniels at the point guard and him at the 2, right? As CJ McCollum gets older, and it's going to be him and B.I. and Zion and all their wing, and probably Jackson Hayes. So, this makes a lot of sense. If I had to give this draft pick a grade, I give it an A. This is because, the best player available was Cam Whitmore, but he's a small forward, right? So they have a gazillion of them. They didn't need another one. So this draft pick gets an A. It makes a lot of sense. I'm glad to see it. Jordan Hawkins.
But what about Scoot Henderson? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they still trading BI for Scoot now? Or does that still look like the right move? What is your thoughts?
I think if that was what was going to happen, I think it would have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would have already.
Do you think they're?
I think that's not going to happen. I think
that's pretty much off the board.
I think Portland is keeping Scoot.
Well, if I'm Dame, I'll start packing my bags.
Yeah, me too. But Dame doesn't think straight, so we don't know.
He's loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
But okay.
Man, Atlanta Hawks are up right now. As injury prone as DeAndre Hunter is, I'd be taking Cam Whitmore in 3.5 seconds. I mean, getting an all-star potential guy here, wait. That's just me, but man.
It's crazy. We've been trying to get this guy off the board for like the past couple of picks. So I feel like he's going to be there for a minute. If he doesn't go now, he's going to be there for him.
Yeah, I mean the guy's like the 7th or 6th guy on my big board. Let me see here. Big board. Yeah, he's number 7.
It's crazy. I don't know when he's coming off the board.
Nobody knows, man. It's Fugazi, it's a Woozy, it's a Wazi. Yo, Derek Lively's mom's tall as hell. Holy shit. She's gotta be at least 6'4", 6'5".
No wonder. No wonder. It all makes sense now.
Okay. Holy shit. Pick just stop before. Give me a second. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The number 15th pick in the draft to the Atlanta Hawks has just been announced. It is Kobe Buffkin, number 25 on my big board. I just agree with a lot of people when it comes down to him. He is an extremely smooth 6'5" 2 guard from the University of Michigan. This guy is, again, a really smooth guy. Can shoot the three ball really well. Can break out this defender really well. Getting to the rim and finishing is a worry because of lack of athletic gifts. And, his shot creation is going to have to become more refined at the next level. This guy is, a very average defender, above average passer for his position. I definitely disagree with them drafting him here. If I had to give this draft pick a grade, I give it a C+. I definitely disagree with the talent, but I do agree with the fit because they do need, a 2 guard that can develop. But I don't think it's going to work out the way they wanted to. Me personally, I view him as Tim Hardaway, a same guy from the same college. So that's the way I view this pick. What do you think about it, Chris?
Number 15. I think it's not a bad pick.
Okay.
I know I wouldn't say it's a bad pick.
Why do you say that?
I just think it's a pretty solid pick. I wouldn't say that it's a bad pick or anything like that because, I feel like they might have gotten what they needed. It's hard to tell, right? Because we may think one way, you know what I mean? And it's all objective. But they may have seen something during the workouts that we just don't know. You know what I mean? We're just looking at, especially, because I haven't looked at anything from what I've learned from you, during your top 30 big board, which you all should go check out.
Shameless plug.
It's just that, these are the people who fit perfectly, but it doesn't, hey, they may have seen something during the workout that was just stood out to them. They was like, okay, we're taking you with this pick. If you're available, we want you. So I just think it's a solid pick. If they think it's a solid pick, I think it's a solid.
Yeah, I feel
now, unless it's Orlando, then I just think they're stupid.
Yeah, I could definitely see him working out if his athletic gifts are better than what I think.
Yeah,
because he's one of those deceiving. He's one of those guys who's always playing smooth and kind of at a pace. So it's tough to 100% be certain of how. So if he's more athletic than I expect him to be, then I could definitely.
It could work out. It could definitely work out. But who really knows? Because I think what was it a couple years ago when Chris Duarte was drafted? I believe we were kind of down on him.
Yeah,
and he ended up playing
well.
turning out really well. So it's like. It's kind of hard to kind of figure these guys out because I don't agree with some of the scouting, but who knows? They might see something that they really, really like and they and then they end up turning out to be great for them. So it's crazy.
Yeah. I don't mind them because he does have a decently high upside, so I don't mind taking a shot. So yeah. I see where you're coming from.
I really wish I had the formula that they use so I could better understand how they picking.
The fact that Cam Whitmore's still here, it's amazing.
Yeah. Who's going to choose Cam Whitmore?
Oh, apparently Utah has the 16th pick, and they know who.
Yeah, they kept their 9 and 16. They were going to trade him, but they said no.
Yeah, apparently they're high on a specific somebody, but I want to wait until they announce him before I react to it. The pick is in for the Utah Jazz. This is ESPN is just straight up disrespectful. I'm literally. They have Fat Joe Remy Ma talking to Stephen A. Smith right now. Not even breaking down these. It is the 16th pick of the NBA draft. I want to hear some player breakdowns, people. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear this fucking guy talking about random fucking bullshit. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is this? This is the 16th pick. What? Why the fuck is Fat Joe? What? Only ESPN, bro. This is why they're going downhill. They just make stupid. Oh my god, Chris.
What?
So apparently the Utah Jazz, it isn't official yet, but they're not it seems like they're not drafting Cam Whitmore. Guess who has the next pick? Guess who has the next pick?
Who?
LeGoat has the next pick in the draft. LeGoat.
Oh, LeBron? I mean, the Lakers?
Yes, dude.
Are they taking Cam Whitmore?
They get Cam Whitmore. I literally blew my fucking. Oh, God.
So they traded their pick to.
What they did?
No, as you said, the Lakers had the next pick, right?
After Utah at 16. But they Woj said they're drafting Keontae, but it hasn't come out of Adam Silver's mouth yet. So, you know.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw they might be drafting Keontae George.
Green tea bag, do your thing. Need you to expand in this water. I need.
The Lakers now own numbers 17 and 40 on the draft board tonight.
What? Wait. Dude. All right, it's official, Chris. You ready to react to the 16th pick in the draft?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. At the 16th pick in the draft, the Utah Jazz select Keontae George, shooting guard from Baylor University. The 18th guy on my big board. I disagreed with everybody that had this man from 4 to 10 in mocks. This guy is 6'4", a stronger guy. Didn't go to the combine to measure in his height or length, so we don't know how long his wingspan is. I think it's a little shorter. This guy is a deep 3-point shot creator for himself and a 3-point shot creator for himself. Some people talk about him as a guy that can develop as a point guard and be like a playmaker. I don't think his passing is nearly good enough to be that. He was a very average passer at the 2-guard position. He's going to be an average defender. And the issues and the worries is the lack of athletic gifts, and he has issues finishing at the rim due to being shorter and less athletic. And, on top of everything else, his shooting splits are extremely terrible. 37% field goal percentage, 33% 3-point percentage. And I have a list of 31 shooting guards that have started in the NBA. They're in the NBA right now, and none of them shot less than 40% from the field goal percentage in college before they got drafted. So that's ridiculously terrible. He would be an outlier if he did become an NBA starter. But, the reason why he's 18 and the reason why I do agree with this draft pick for Utah is he's a boomer bust guy. The deep 3-point shot creation for himself is too tantalizing if it does develop to say, okay, this guy could be, somebody really special as a starting 2-guard in the NBA. So the potential is there, and for Utah, they got a gazillion draft picks, so they can take this, right? They're gonna have so many draft picks in the future that, so I would rate this draft pick as a B+. It fits the high upside type of guys that they want to draft from. So, I agree with this Utah Keontae George draft. What do you think?
Keontae George, I think that's another solid pick. I think that if his upside is high, you know what I mean, and it could be a good pick going forward. I feel like it's not going to be, that's not a wasted pick.
No,
I feel like it's a good pick. And we just have to wait to see how it plays out next year with the team, how the fit plays out.
Yeah, I mean they're so patient, and the great thing about Utah is they've done one thing extremely well. They have made Danny Ainge basically running the organization. I think he's president or GM, something along those lines. So Danny Ainge is running the organization. So, this is a perfect fit for Keontae because he's going to have the safety to be given the time, even if he's terrible in the first 2 years, 3 years. He's going to be able to give him the time because people are going to trust Danny Ainge's name and his drafting ability. And if he says he likes Keontae, people are going to give him the time. So out of all the places that he could have went to in this situation, I think this is the best fit. So whatever the best version of Keontae is going to be in the NBA, I think we'll see it.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I believe they do well developing as well. And, people do trust Danny Ainge. I, for one, trust Danny Ainge. So, I think it's going to be good going forward.
Yeah, all right. It's like getting drafted by Jerry West. It's like, well, we'll give him some time. Jerry's usually fucking right. Drafted Kobe Bryant.
True.
Let's be honest here. Danny Ainge drafted Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Right? You do that. And you trade down from the one pick that ended up being Marco Fultz to get Jason Tatum. You look like a draft fucking genius at that point in time.
That's true.
So, rightfully so. He's Duke and draft. There is no doubt about that. Man. Laker Nation.
What? Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Really? That's what it is?
He got drafted by the Lakers.
Okay. Let's react to it. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead.
All right, the 17th pick in the draft by the Los Angeles Lakers is Jalen Hood-Schifino, the 10th guy on my big board. He is a 6'6" point guard out of Indiana University. When I think about Jalen Hood-Schifino, first things first, I have a big man crush on the guy. My nickname for him is Smooth Criminal. So, as a prospect, he's very great here. He's ridiculously smooth reading the pick and roll. He's a highly intelligent basketball player. He's the best mid-range shooting point guard in the draft. You're a good mid-range shooter when you have your point guard coming off ball screens, catching them, shooting them awkward angles, aligning his hip to the rim and making it like it's nothing. He has great touch. He's a pretty good finisher at the rim as well. He's going to be an above average defender. His length is great. Extremely intelligent guy, makes good passes. Shoots the ball pretty well. Flashes shot creation. Shows flashes of shot creation for himself. And when we talk about the fit for the Los Angeles Lakers, I definitely think this fits because Jalen Hood-Schifino's best skill is not passing. He is in the NBA an above average. He was never going to be this great manipulator. He's more, I view him as a poor man Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's going to be a guy that's going to give you some efficient buckets in the NBA, giving you 16 to 18 when he's peaking. Year one, I think this makes a lot of sense as maybe a secondary, a third, a fourth ball handler for the team. Definitely going to be a guy that makes good decisions day one. He's not a guy that's extremely raw. Again, I really believe in him. 11th pick, 11th guy on my big board for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to give this an A. The talent here is very great. So, and the future-wise, I mean, he's a great player, so the future is there. So, what do you think about Jalen Hood-Schifino going number 17?
If he's a shooter, I love it. We need shooters. We ain't got no shooting. We need shooters.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it. His play style, getting shown how to play the game of basketball and read the game of basketball by LeBron James is perfect. So even though people might see point guard and be like, right, but when you're gonna probably lose D'Lo anyway, it makes sense.
Yeah,
and he has great length. Looks like the Miami Heat are on the clock right now. They might have traded up. Did they trade up?
Dude, I don't see anything yet. They traded up.
They had to. Yeah, they're probably here to take Cam one more. He's filming way too fucking long.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're honestly not valuing defense as much as we thought they would.
Who?
Teams in the league aren't valuing defense them.
Yeah, I guess there hasn't been many defensive specific guys.
Ooh, damn!
What?
This tape.
Right, with the 18th pick in the draft, the Miami Heat have drafted Jaime Jaquez Jr., small forward from UCLA. On my big board, he is 48. Nobody in the draft had him outside the second round. He is 6'7", with about a 6'7" wingspan, pretty low 30s three-point percentage. He's a guy that is a mid-range shooter. He can hit his two fadeaways. He can, when he catches the ball, he can do a few jab steps and has some pretty decent things in the mid-range. But he's an extremely slow guy. I don't think his game translates to the NBA. Nobody's going to catch the ball in the mid-range and, from the post that much as a small forward. He's not a shot creator from the three-point line. He's extremely slow. I think this is one of the rare times where the Miami Heat blew the draft. I don't see this working out at all. If I had to give this a grade, I'd give it an F-. But if I could give it a Z, it's a 0. Negative 100. This is a terrible draft. So Jaime Jaquez just went off the board to Miami.
Oh, well, here's what I have to say. So Miami has been known to get those kind of players, right? Like those late draft picks, those undrafted picks, those players that nobody really wants, and they see just a little bit of something in them that, you know, and then they mold them into like these all around good players that, you know, into the player that they want them to be. Because they get these project players, right? These players is like, you think like, oh, they're not really good at this, they're not really good at that, and they mold those players into being better basketball minded players, higher basketball IQ, better defenders. You know what I mean? You know, improve their scoring. You know, so you have players like Caleb Martin and things like that. So I honestly am not mad at the pick because Miami has built this reputation as picking these kind of guys and then molding them. So I'm not really mad at this pick. I don't know if it's solid or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll, you know, not this year. We won't see what they really able to accomplish. But once he's there for at least a year, maybe 2 years, then we'll see this pick really come into fruition. You know, far as like whether it's a good pick or not, because these are the kind of guys that they really kind of they pick a lot of project players. Is how I put it. They pick a lot of project players.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, man. And I do think that the Miami Heat deserves that respect. The respect to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's one of those rare times where I'm pretty confident that this is a buzz.
Well, if it is, it is.
It's tough. It's really tough. But yeah, I don't see it at all. Get off the weed.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. All right. The Golden State Warriors pick is in at 19, and they are drafting Brandon Pinzamiski. Tough name, 6'5" guy from Pepperdine. You know, this guy is about a 40% three-point shooter. He makes really good passes. He is a guy that really lacks the ability to shot create for himself. You know, nothing elite there. My reason why I have him the 42nd guy on my big board is I think he's too slow to translate into the NBA. I mean, the guy is slow. But I do think that the Golden State Warriors, because of the passing, I could see them drafting him here. You know, I disagree with the pick again, but the passing makes sense. So if I had to give it a grade, I give it a D. But I just don't think the translate's going to translate.
Well, another person I don't really know. But I feel like we gotta just trust these guys.
I will say this: if they had to drew somebody here at 19, it should have been a gosh darn center. Yeah. Wasting this pick on a guard that's the best quality is passing, you just traded for Chris Paul makes no sense.
Yeah, no, that don't make sense. Houston Wojbomb. Houston is considering Cam Whitmore at number 20.
Who wouldn't? I mean, I don't know what the heck went down in his workouts. I don't know what went down in his mental acuities, but you know, there's something fishy going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard from the outside looking in to judge what's happening, but if I'm Houston and the talent's just way too hard to pass up on, even if, you know, fit doesn't work 100%. It's just the way. And, you know, the only thing that they need that can be a starter is a guy to replace Alperen Sengun, but there's no guy here that's like, okay, if they draft a center here, he's definitely going to be better than Alperen. So, you know, I would go Cam.
Yeah. But what if it's like some health issues or something like that that's preventing everybody? Because he was a top 5 pick, you know, projected, and then he slid all the way to 20 and maybe beyond. It got to be some health issues.
Yeah. Or bad attitude.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls, at the 20th pick, the Houston Rockets choose Cam Whitmore. This guy is the 7th guy on my big board. I'm amazed that this guy is still here. Just to put this in perspective, give you guys a breakdown. This guy is physically and athletically reminds me a ton of Carmelo Anthony. Super strong guy. Something Melo didn't have is a lightning quick first step. His strength and first step allows him to be ridiculously elite at finishing at the rim and getting to the rim due to his ability to have a great first step like that. You know, probably the most elite first step in the draft might literally be him or Scoot. Like, he's in a rarefied air for his size at 6'7", and he flashes shot creation for himself at the 3-point line. He doesn't do anything in the mid range. He doesn't do anything in the post. He can hit a standstill shot, but those flashes of shot creation plus his athletic gifts and his ability to finish at the rim is why he's such an intriguing guy that can become, a borderline all-star player, and he could become a good defender as well. I think he needs to get taught a little bit better. I do wish at Villanova he would be a little less passive. But Houston here knocking the pick out of the park. I mean, the value is insane getting this guy at 21. He is such a great player.
Yeah.
I am in love with the talent. Houston really nailed this draft. This is an A plus 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 plus. I don't know. There must be some sort of he did bad at interviews. He did bad at XYZ, but who else did terrible in interviews? Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas did. Gilbert Arenas is notorious. So, not every guy that's doing terrible in interviews translates to bad prospects. We'll see, but talent-wise, the talent's there. So, Chris, what do you think about this one, man?
I think this is a great pick for Houston. Just building that young core up, especially with the new coach and everything like that. Defense can be taught, but this guy has talent. He's a great scorer, and I think that he'll fit right along with the young talent that they have there in Houston, as far as like the KPJ. What was I think they just picked up
Amen Thompson, the same draft.
Amen Thompson, yeah. That was at 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they still have from last year's draft the 6. I think it was the 16th pick, LSU guy, really athletic wing as well. So they got a lot of athletic wings now. Tariq Eason.
They got a lot of good pieces going forward. So I'm just excited to see what that team. Houston is finally looking exciting again. Just ask once again, please don't let the thought of James Harden ruin what you're about to build. It's not worth it. I would most likely I would be more likely to invest in my future than to give it all away for James Harden. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, pairing him with Tari Eason and Amen Thompson at guys that they have at that length is great. And what makes it super amazing as well is if KPJ never develops into a type of player that can play like a pure style of basketball and he has to become a 6-man, you can have Kid Moore at the 3, right? You could run out KPJ as your backup 6-man guard and have Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Sengun, or whoever they draft in the future at the center position. Like, this gives them a little more flexibility. Tari Eason is also a phenomenally athletic defensive guy that has some shot creation abilities as well at 6'8". So they got a lot of good depth in this position, and they don't got to touch the forward position for a minute. This is getting lucky at an extreme degree. The Brooklyn Nets are next on the draft. Okay, with the 21st pick is in, and the Brooklyn Nets choose the 38th guy on my big board, Noah Clowney. He is a 6'10" power forward from Alabama. He's a very athletic guy. That's by far his greatest trait. He doesn't really do much else. He can't really shoot threes. He'll catch lobs. He'll rebound. I think he's an above-average defender. I don't think he's ever going to become a world-class defender because of just lack of instincts and things of that nature. He's definitely a project. Me personally, my comp for him is Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark's an extremely athletic guy off the bench for the Memphis Grizzlies. You know what I mean? And I understand people getting intrigued with a guy like him because if Brandon Clark, for example, was a three-point shooter, Brandon Clark would be knocking on the door for, them trying to start him or trade him to another team that would want to start him, right? So these great athletes get drafted a little bit higher than what their skills are because of the intrigue. So I understand it to a degree. If I had to give a grade on it, I'd give it a C. But Noah Clowney just went here.
That's not bad.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, since the Nets are not trying to win now, I could understand trying to take a boomer bust guy here because they're trying to develop one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't be trying to. I mean, I guess they need to. I guess they just need to develop the guys they have, though.
Yeah, agreed. All right, with the 22nd pick in the draft, yes, the Brooklyn Nets have back-to-back draft picks here. They are drafting number 20 on my big board, Dariq Whitehead. This guy is 6'7" from Duke. He is a very strong human being. His best ability is shooting the poo at the three-point ball. 42% from the three-point line. It's really special. Uh, you know, he flashes every once in a while some shot creation for himself, but I wish I saw it more. He does have the ability to attack the rim due to just overall strength. He's not like an extremely great guy that has great burst or anything along those lines. And he's going to be a very average defender at the next level. Me personally, I view him as the same type of guy as Adrian Griffin that got drafted last year. I definitely view them as similar guys where they have floors of really elite standstill 3-point shooters that people had. They had better mixtapes and better highlight tapes and tape in high school and college, and injuries early in the year, and they went to the same college, and both are extremely strong human beings. So I definitely view that as the comp here. If I had to give this pick a grade, I give it a B plus. Like, this is a pretty solid pick. I actually give it an A minus. I'll give it an A minus. That's a good pick for me. What do you think, Chris?
Okay, A minus isn't bad. You've done all the research. I agree. If you say it's a good pick, say it's a solid pick going forward.
All right, the 23rd pick is in for the Portland Trailblazers. They drafted Chris Murray. He is the 27th guy rated on my big board. This guy is 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan. He posts a lot in college, but that's not really going to translate to the next level. He shoots really well from the three-point line, 34%. Really long guy. He's going to be a really solid 3-and-D guy. He defends really well. My comparison is Marcus Morris. And, the Portland Trailblazers got a high-tier role player here. Even if he's coming off the bench, he's going to add to winning, So, Chris Murray here's a pretty solid pick. I'd give it a solid B. B plus. So what do you think, Chris?
B plus. He's a solid pick for the Portland Trailblazers, and I said this already, and I'll say it again: is Damian Lillard start packing his bags and get ready to go, because clearly that they are going toward rebuilding. They lied to this man yet again, and don't be loyal to a fault.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they were trying to build for the future like they want to, I would have went to like a little bit of a more higher upside guy. But, I guess I understand.
Once they start trading these guys away, then I'll be like, okay, I get it. But I doubt that.
All right, the pick is in. The 24th pick that got traded to the Dallas Mavericks is in. And they drafted Oliver Maxence Prosper from Marquette. He's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. He can't shot create at all for himself, but he shoots 33% from the three-point line. He's a very, very good on-ball defender. My pro player comparison is Jay Crowder, which, funny enough, went to the exact same college at Marquette. He's 35 on my big board, but he's definitely A plus for the Dallas Mavericks because they desperately need a wing that can defend. And this guy is going to be, even if his three-point shot doesn't come along year one, they desperately need guys that can defend, and he can bring it day one. So Dallas definitely getting an A plus here. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it's a A plus too, because he's a nice 3-and-D guy. He can shoot, he can defend. It's gonna be perfect because you already have Kyrie. You don't really need no shot creator because you have Luka. You don't really need a shot creator. You need a guy who can really who can catch and shoot, and he defend the ball really well. I think that's a solid role player going for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good pick, and this is definitely worth trading. Because this is,
true.
Dallas desperately needed the role players to win an NBA championship here, and them walking away with Derek Lively and this guy makes a ton of sense for their future. High tier role players. Mm-hmm. He's never going to be anything else. He has no upside other than that. But
yeah,
you need these guys to win, and they display on. All right, the 25th pick is in, and this is a trade that went to the Detroit Pistons. And it seems like the Detroit Pistons have drafted Marcus Sasser. Marcus Sasser is a point guard from the University of Houston. And he's about an average athlete. He flashes some shot creation for himself at the 3-point line. He's about 6'2". He's a pretty average passer. 6'2" is really holding him back, but he has really good shooting splits. He can really shoot the 3-point ball really well. I don't think it makes much sense for Detroit because they just drafted Ausar, and I was like, okay, with Cade and Ausar, it's like how many guys can you have handle the ball? And adding Marcus Sasser to the back end of this when they desperately need any bodies at the small forward or power forward position since they no longer have Saddiq Bey because he got traded to Atlanta. It just makes no sense to me. I would have drafted one of those guys here. So because of fit being an issue, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a solid C minus and maybe even a D plus. I'm gonna go with a D plus because of positional opportunity at other players here. So that's my take. All right, the 26th pick in the draft has been announced. The Indiana Pacers are choosing Ben Sheppard from Belmont University, 6'6". The guy shoots the three-point shot very well as a standstill guy. Shoots in the high 30s, comes off ball screens. He's going to be an average defender. He doesn't really do much else except his role very well. It's going to be a solid bench player. My pro player comparison is Landry Shamet. He's the 47th guy on my big board. This guy's going to be a solid bench shooter for a while for the Indiana Pacers. If I had to give this draft pick a grade, I'd give it a C+. But it's, fit-wise, the way they love to shoot the three-point ball as a team, that's their identity. So, I'll give them a little bit of benefit. All right, the pick is in for the 27th pick in the draft. The Charlotte Hornets are choosing Nick Smith Jr. from Arkansas. This guy is a high upside boom or bust 2-guard. He is the 21st guy on my big board, 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan. He is not a guy that you're going to expect to move off ball. No. He shoots 37% from the field, 34% from the three-point line. He has a really good handle, though. He really does have an advanced handle. He, can break down this defender extremely well. His best trade is definitely in the mid-range. He has great touch. He has a really good feel for drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. Really understands those things extremely well. He can hit a standstill three-point shot. That's something that you're going to expect him to do it a lot of. On top of everything else, he defends surprisingly well. He's going to be a pretty above-average 2-guard defender. The reason why I had him 21 on my big board is out of 31 shooting guards that I took from current NBA shooting guards that have started in the NBA, none of them shot less than 40% from the field goal percentage the year before they got drafted, coming out of the draft in college. And Nick Smith is a guy that shoots 37% from the three-point line. Not the three-point line, but his field goal percentage. And, I think that's reflected by his lack of athletic gifts. He's a question mark on his ability to finish at the rim. There's a lot of questions around him, but, the best case scenario is Lou Williams. So there is potential there of his handle matching some sort of skill in the shot creation, the footwork that can happen in the future. It's a good boom or bust pick here for the Charlotte Hornets. If I had to grade this draft pick, I'd give it an A. This is great value for like a boom or bust pick at 27. This is you can throw with this pick, and if nothing works out, then it's okay. And I definitely feel like it makes. All right, the 28th pick in the draft is in, and it is going to the Utah Jazz. Bryce Sensabaugh, the 12th guy on my big board. I'm a little higher than other people on him. 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan. Phenomenal world-class shooting splits. He is, to put his shooting splits into perspective in the last 20 years, guys to have 15 points per game, shoot 50% within the 2-point percentage, 40% from the three-point line, 80% from the free throw line are Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Lauri Markkanen, Ben McLemore, and Mike Dom. So, phenomenal shooting splits. I definitely think that he shows you a ton of tape of breaking down defenders, getting his shot creation on every level off, sidesteps, step backs, extremely tough threes. He is not just a guy that is going to stand in the corner and shoot. he is definitely a shot creator from every level. The lack of athleticness is a question mark, but I do think his extremely strong frame and big frame will allow him to move people around to get his game off at the next level. So I do believe in him translating. When we talk about a pick here for the Utah Jazz, what I rank it, this is an A+. This is great value. I definitely believe in him, and I'm excited to see him in a Utah Jazz uniform. All right, it is official. The 29th pick is in. The Indiana Pacers choose Julian Strawther. He is a 6'9" guard or small forward out of Gonzaga. 29th guy on my big board, 6'9" wingspan, 40% three-point shooter, 47% field goal percentage. He's an average on-ball defender, but he's a great standstill three-point shooter. As somebody that had the pleasure of watching him before he went back to Gonzaga last year preparing for the draft, I can tell that he definitely grew in his handle. So he's definitely somebody that now showed NBA scouts that when there's closeouts on him and NBA guys are going to attack his three-point shot, he'll have the handle to get to the rim now. So, I definitely think that this is going to be a long-time three-point shooter. My pro player comparison here is Joe Ingles, a lifetime three-point shooting role player that's not going to give you much defensively and not give you much else as a shot creator. But, Julian Strawther is going to have a very good role for a long time. And, this is the Indiana Pacers just really believing shooting the poo out of the three ball. This guy's going to have a role for a minute. And I'm excited to see him in an Indiana Pacers uniform. If I had to give this pick a grade, I'd give it a B+. All right, the 30th pick is in, and the Los Angeles Clippers choose Kobe Brown from Missouri University, 6'7". Physically, he's built like Draymond Green, shoots 40% from the three-point line. He's going to be an average defender. When I say the name Draymond Green, don't think world-class defender. No, he's going to be very average. But, that 40% three-point percentage is on top of something else that he is sneaky good at, is passing. He passes and plays, the way he plays is very similar to offensively like Draymond. Like his ability to hit those backdoor passes, his bounce passes, his manipulation of defenses, it's extremely unique for his size and length. And you add that to his three-point shot. I definitely think that, even though he is the 43rd guy on my big board, something we've talked a lot about in the podcast for a year since we've been doing this is the Clippers needing more guys who can pass the basketball, having these guys integrated into their team. And having a guy that can pass the basketball that's a non-point guard really is helpful, especially with his size and length and being able to shoot that three ball. So he can become a guy that can be impactful to their winning. He definitely, the biggest weaknesses of the Clippers is passing, and I definitely could see him filling that role. So even though he's the 43rd ranked guy on the big board, I'm going to give this draft pick a B+ because of how much of a weakness and a need is for that skill that he has. So, overall, this is the end of the first round. This is going to be the end of this podcast. We wanted to live react to everything the first round and, give that content to you guys. We're very grateful for having you guys listen to the podcast, reacting with us. It's been a crazy ride. So many crazy things have happened. You guys are going to definitely want to catch our episode next week, or it should be the week that this gets released as well, is we are going to give you guys the top 5 winners and the top 5 losers of the draft. It's going to be really hard hitting. In the rest of that episode, we're going to be breaking down that Bradley Beal trade, that Kristaps Porzingis trade, Ja Morant getting suspended for 22 games. We're going to be breaking down the Chris Paul trade as well. So a lot of Wizards movement, and we're going to be covering that all for you guys. It's going to be a great podcast. You're going to want to tune into that. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. And I'm Jason Collins, and we're the Basketball Addicts. Peace out.